My motivation is running for mayor of the city of Birmingham because the poverty level in the city for the last 40 years has been in the 30th percentiles. When you consider the fact currently there's a little more than 200,000 people in the city, 74% of them are black people. And out of the 74% of black people, 37.1% lives below the poverty, object poverty. That means that another 62.5% barely is living above the poverty level. And a mere small 1.4 black people in the city is really living well. Now, last year, $64 billion went through this economy, and it made a minimum of 3,000 millionaires. And I always like to tell people, this is not Brokenham. Birmingham is not broke. And there are some things that we have to do to get accountability from the banking industry, which are in violation, gross violation of the 1977 Congressional Reinvestment Act. So that's why I'm running, because poverty is the number one enemy, not of Birmingham, but it's the number one enemy of humanity. And it's imperative that I knock a hole in that statistic, especially as it relates to black people in the city of Birmingham. August 14 will be 29 years. And again, I reiterate the opening question, the quality of life is not that good when you almost have 40% of its people, African-American people, the large majority, living in abject poverty. That means the quality of life for only the 1%, 1.4% of blacks, but on the other end, when you have 74% that are black, and then that means for a little more than 30% that are white, that are doing great well. Now, in retrospect, looking at your 37.1% as black, and that's only 2.1% of whites that actually are living in poverty. So the disparity is just, the dichotomy of it all is just paralyzing. So again, there must be a tsunami, if you will, as it relates to the financial paradigm of this city. And that disparity, once that bridge is built, and that's what I plan to do, build a bridge between the haves and the have-nots in the city of Birmingham. Well, the reason I'm running for mayor is nothing really. I'm in or out of City Hall. There's nothing really wrong with the council, in spite of what people might believe. The mayor is not a full-time mayor. The council is a part-time entity. The mayor is the number one elected city employee, and the mayor should demonstrate that and should do that. Number one, the mayor comes to zero pre-councils. Pre-councils where the mayor and the council should vet things before they go before the cameras and before the people. He comes to none of those meetings. As a full-time mayor, he's obligated to be there. They have what's called a committee of the whole, the backroom meetings away from the camera. The mayor always have a surrogate there. To improve the relationship, the mayor has to see himself as a husband and seeing the council as a wife. And you know yourself that if you were married, that you got to know when you met your wife, you got to know when you proposed to her, you got to know her birthday, you got to know your anniversary. So if the council don't spend time with the mayor in this almost like wife-husband relationship, then you're going to have the kind of bickering and the arguments and those kind of things that you have. I mean, that's in any relationship. Again, council mayor is relationship. Then the mayor has to understand, particularly with the council, they are the legislative body. He is the executive. He needs to fully function as a full-time mayor in his capacity and allow them to function in their capacity as part-time employees of the city. So everyone realizing who they are, a wife can't be the husband and the husband can't be the wife. If you stay in your own lane, we will make a better government. And the better way to look at it is like Christ loved the church. Love your wife as Christ loved the church. So love your council members like you love your citizen. So if you don't love, and which are councilors, in actuality, the mayor works for the council because they are part-time employees but full-time citizens. I'm glad you asked that. The staggering statistics, when they talk about this shift and this momentum, there's no momentum, as Booker T. Washington said, rising tides lifts all ships, but there's no fellows in the ship. the fellows are not shipping. They say fellowship, you know, some that fell so low. So as it relates to economic growth and development, as well as population increase, because we have to be very, very concerned with the population decreasing of our city, because we're in jeopardy of having other municipalities such as Huntsville and Mobile to overtake us. And there's just a lot that will happen in job growth and development as it relates to losing the number one status. Now, one of my issues, the Quarter X, it was called the Appalachian Trail. John Kennedy christened it in 1964. That's 28 Highway, Quarter X, you might know it as. Well, that offers bright promises. I envision personally myself a civil rights Disney World out there, per se, where I will invite the world. I would create the Mayor's Office of International Recruitment, and I would recruit with the CEOs of 100 different nations, the number one hotels from the nation, the number one restaurants from those nations, and we will create such a powerful, and I hate to compare a civil rights to a Disney World because you think about playful, but when you look at the fact that Quarter X runs from Memphis to Atlanta with Birmingham in between, you have the death of Dr. King and Beale Street Entertainment, you have Atlanta, the birth of King, and Birmingham in the middle. And with Birmingham having the Civil Rights Institute, there's so much that we can piggyback off that we're missing so much. So once we develop that corridor the way I see it, it would become possibly $1 billion apparatus. And then number two is just baffles me the fact that we so proximity to Huntsville, which the space industry has been there all that close. As a city, we have not reached out deep and deal with space exploration. Being proximity to Huntsville, Huntsville pulls off our medical industry because, you know, we went from steel to medical, and I think the last should be now transitioning into space because, again, the space program is pumping up again. So I'm not looking at what we have, I'm looking at what we don't have and the possibilities that we can have. As I said, developing that corridor, reaching out to Huntsville and this kind of things and making something mesh with what we already have, because we are so limited. Our pollution is so great that bringing certain type of industries, we are barred from doing that simply because we are a toxic city as it relates to pollutants. One thing that distinguishes me from the other candidates is that, again, I've been here for 29 years. I've served 5 sitting mayors and 2 interim mayors. So I've learned they're good, bad, and they're ugly. And I can mesh like a New Orleans, what is that, gumbo. You know, I got a little bit, you know, some stuff in the gumbo you don't like, some you don't go picking it out. So again, I would take the good, the bad, and the ugly of each one of those mayors that I've served directly or indirectly with. And personally, right now, I'm ready to go because I served one of the greatest mayors of a short time, Mayor Larry Langford, and a lot of his initiatives that he put forth and some that he didn't. I will begin undertaking those initiatives, and I already know most of the people that are at City Hall on all of its 10 floors, and I know some that dead weight need to go. I know some that need oxygen and need to go forth. But one of the main things I'm going to do to improve it is that within 21 days, I'm going to meet literally with every employee that works for the city of Birmingham. Literally, I said 21 days because I want to spend at least 20 minutes. The ones I know, I want to re-know them. I want to see their baby pictures. I want to see the children's pictures. I want to know who their family are. I want them to know that I'm going to work hard and smart for them. And I want them to know that in this region, my employees, thousands of them, are the lowest paid in this region. So I want to have that confidence that I'm going to get them a pay raise, I'm going to get them a cost of living raise, and I'm going to restore longevity with arrearages. But more so than anything, I'm going to fight for them. But then I'm going to have high accountability because I'm going to get you paid to a high level, and then you're going to be productive to the fact that I don't want any old ladies or anyone complaining to me about stuff that's not done. Because if I got over 3,000 employees in this city, they are responsible. And the citizens not responsible, neither are the council. It's those full-time employees that work for me. So again, I'm shovel ready with projects. I'm mentally ready. I already know how city government works. I know the good, bad, and ugly, and I think that quantify me head and shoulders above anyone but the current mayor. And his flaws, again, as I said earlier, he's a full-time mayor that's acting as a part-time mayor, and I have to fill in that gap and becoming a full-time mayor. Well, the number one, police don't stop crime. Police reacts to crime. I initially supersedes cop on every block. If you had a cop on every block, I mean, we have to be real of ourselves. We've been had crime in the world ever since Cain killed Abel. That's not going to go away. If we had 1 million police on the streets of Birmingham and paid them top salary, that's not going to stop. Now, one of the things that I propose is that we have to deal with crime in a different way in America. We have to see crime as a learning behavior disorder. A lot of crime is committed. Being a gang member, let's pull off the same as myself, pull my mask off. I was a gang member. First time I stole something, I saw my brother steal. I imitated him. So that was a learned behavior. A lot of crime is learned behavior. In Alabama, crime is a mental disorder. Individuals are arrested and go to prison with no psychological evaluation. So what I will do, I will establish the mayor's office of crime recidivism reduction. Why? Because 85% currently of the crime that's committed in Birmingham is committed by repeat offenders. So what I will do with my mayor's office of recidivism reduction, literally, it costs nothing but a little time of the mayor. Any person that's within 6 months of being released back into the city of Birmingham, this mayor will meet with them throughout the 16 institutions that we have across this state. Then I will meet across the street. First-time offenders that's in the county jail, right in back of the mayor's office, all first-time offenders, I will meet with them literally and say, this is how it's gonna be. And if you sentence within 4 to 6 years, I'm gonna interact with you 6 months to your release. Because they get out, they don't have job plans, they don't have home plans, they don't have psychological evaluation, and they get a free bus ticket sometimes with the clothes on the back they went to prison with. That's a success story for unsuccess. They come back, they're gonna steal. They're gonna do what they did because while they was in there, they already know how that works. And so if they get caught at the minimum, they could go back to the secure place where they're getting a bed, a meal, and all that. So you got to change that. But back there, they commit crimes along the way. So that's the biggest problem, establishing more mental health situations to deal with the criminal element, changing the behavior, learned practices with younger children, and more so than anything, a mayor himself interacting with any individual that's within 6 months of being released back into my city. If I can get to them, it's not a panacea, but it's the best thing that can work outside the box because the mayor has so much influence. I would literally have them sign a covenant with me. And again, every inmate that's in the mental institution has a classification specialist. So me setting up the mayor's office of recidivism reduction, my people will interact with the classification specialist on those within 6 months of coming. And also my office, the same first-time offender that's going from the county jail first time, my office would interact with them through the whole process, not just the 6 months term. So if we interacting with them during the whole 2 or 3 years of my administration, then that's more chances that we almost would have a panacea for that first timer as we channel him through the system. Again, I undertook this tedious journey to put all that I know it costs, my finances, my family, my friends, my golfing activity and other things because of poverty. Poverty is the colossal enemy of humanity. And it definitely has run rampant like Goliath, if you would, throughout the Birmingham community. 74% of these people makes up the population of some 230,000. Of the 74%, 37.1 live below the poverty, not just poverty, but abject poverty. That's why I undertook, again, this race, this journey to run for mayor of the city of Birmingham, because I want to be able to put a large hole in poverty. Again, for 40 years, 30% of this city's population, again, which is black, have lived in poverty. How do I do that? I take an unconventional stance. One, I will challenge the financial institution. We have some 15 billion on deposit in financial institutions of this city. And these financial institutions have not been in order with the 1977 Congressional Community Reinvestment Act. So within the first 21 days, I will meet with each and every CEO that has more than $1 million on deposit in their bank. I want to know the empirical data going back to the inception of that bank or when they first started to get monies from Birmingham. And I will understand the violations that they probably have had that created the poverty like it is because the lack of investments in the integrity of this 164-mile city. Then I will want from them a comprehensive plan of how they're going to deal with poverty going forward, because there are responsibilities that the Congressional Act demands that they do. And then I will set aside $40 million. I call it the $40 million plan. I will set up the mayor's office of small business stimulus, where I will set aside each year $10 million for up to 200 small businesses to get $50,000 to address various issues. Going forward, again, I'm not so concerned about the latter now, 21st century, but my eye on Birmingham is towards positioning her in the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th century. And I believe by the 113,000 voters of the city of Birmingham making me mayor, the 34th mayor of Birmingham, will decide right then and there Birmingham's positioning in the 25th, 26th, and 23rd century. Again, this 164 square mile, this little black dot on this blue planet that we call Birmingham, I'm concerned about it. Again, where will your children be? Where will my children be? So again, I would ask the public, again, 113,000 voting people, and particularly those that are in gross object poverty, to think on Frank Matthews and allow me to become the 34th mayor of the city of Birmingham. We'll turn around. If nothing else, we will deal with poverty. Because again, poverty affects everything. Crime, education, it has its tentacles and everything. And again, like Goliath, I want to be little David. I want to have something in my lunchbox that turns into 5 smooth stones that can break the back of poverty in the city of Birmingham. Please vote for Frank Matthews, August 22nd, Mayor of Birmingham.